You guys, do you hear this clicking in the background?
Yes.
My fucking whole system restarted, and I still am hearing a weird clicking.
Way to go.
Way to go, Ashtray. Do you think the old Skype filters will just clear that out?
I've got a
George
gate
was-
on
Okay.
OBS that usually does it.
Attaboy. To say otherwise, I don't need more fuckery. Literally, I was like, I'm coming in hot, and then it's like, why is this lane not moving? Some motherfuckers just stalled out at the turn. Like, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I mean,
Guys think I'm getting head at Wendy's right now because I'm coming up with all these excuses.
getting head at Wendy's. Like you do.
Yeah,
Right.
nobody thought that. Let's start the show.
All right.
Oh.
Oh, fuck. What are we doing here?
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Where's my weed? Shit.
In this episode of the Red Eye Report, we discuss meta war. There's a battle going on for your mind, and the tools for monitoring and control are increasing in their capabilities. How much are their capabilities increasing? The answer might scare the hell out of you. With me this week is
About 350.
Android. Yeah, 350. Android Ashtray. He's a machine built for three things: fucking dudes' mouths, dancing, and eating bar food.
Yes, indeed. And I'm good at only one of them.
Let's see Boston Dynamics top that one. Also with me is Multi-Thread Mystic. He's playing 4D chess at all times when it comes to figuring out how to commit moving violations without getting caught. You better not jaywalk, because Mystic
Because
is
you can't.
because Mystic is probably drunk, jacking off, and needs another notch in his belt.
Oh, absolutely, baby.
Wow.
There's also Turn It Off and On Again Teddy. He's been trying to connect his Bluetooth headphones for the past 5 years. Did you try turning it off and on again? Finally, there's me, Optical Nerve Oracle. I've been shooting human growth hormone into my eyeballs for the past 2 weeks. And I've got to say, I can't see shit, and I have a terrible headache. Fuck it. This is the Red Eye Report. All right. So before we kick this off, we have the weekly benefit event for the Dane County Humane Society. And this week's pet is Elsa, the lab.
Elsa, that slut.
That slut with
Where
her
the hell? Oh, here we go.
with her slutty.
Why is she a slut?
Well, with a name like Elsa.
Yeah.
What
She's
the-
just she's
It brings
fucking-
attention, and
she-
she can't say no.
Right, she's asking for it, dude.
Jesus Christ. What is wrong with white folk?
What? We love attention, and we're sluts on top of the food chain.
You ain't never fucked a dog, Teddy. Come on.
I have never fucked any animal in my life except Ashtray's mom.
That's right.
Right.
You made love to them.
And she's housebroken.
Kind of.
Exactly.
Not
Kinda.
not after Teddy got done with her. Little leakage.
Leak. Oh,
Oh,
gross.
God, yeah, right. She went back to being feral. Thanks, Teddy.
The plastic back on the couch.
Yeah. My mother stopped calling me on my birthday ever since Teddy banged her. She's crazy.
All right, so
Welcome to America.
tonight we're talking about meta war, which is read a book recently by this guy Winn Schwartau, and he's got this new book, The Art and Science of Meta War: How to Coexist with AI-Driven Reality Distortion, Disinformation, and Addiction in the Metaverse. It's a
Wow.
mouthful. Yeah.
That sounds like
right.
a fucking PhD fucking
Yeah.
dissertation.
What's his advice? Become a hermit?
Yeah, no, not exactly. So Winn Schwartau is actually a really interesting character. So he's kind of like one of the OG cybersecurity people. He was testifying in front of Congress in '91 about how computers and networks were not secure enough, and kind of predicted a lot of stuff. And before he worked in cybersecurity, he was actually a recording engineer. So I think he like recorded stuff with like Led Zeppelin, and he was doing like Saturday Night Live. I know he was on that show as like a sound engineer. So he's got kind of a really
Pushing
interesting
the laugh track button.
Yeah. Interesting background. And this book just came out recently. So I decided to pick it up, and it was very interesting. So when he's talking about meta war and what's going on, basically he's talking about kind of the war for our minds. And how, you guys, I'm sure, are familiar with or have heard of like Russian disinformation campaigns, and I'm sure the U.S. does that shit. Everybody does that shit.
Israel.
Right. This is nothing new.
China.
This is not like an internet phenomenon. It's just that the tools and the mechanisms for spreading this information are that much faster, that much more efficient. And really he's talking about, okay, well, we have the capacity to do this, but what does that look like in an era where AI can generate stuff at machine speed, right? So
Yeah.
somebody could be like, hey, I want to fucking, influence this
Right.
segment of the population, so I'm going to generate all this fucking shit, all this.
Sure, let's make memes about Haitians eating pets.
Right. I mean, people are losing their minds about that dumb shit. Just imagine.
Yeah, think what AI can do.
Right.
It can eat the pets for you.
Yeah. One of the
It will actually create incident reports about
Right.
pets being eaten.
So what kind of
It's gonna take over. So just stop playing.
his approach for this is really interesting in his book, because he spends a considerable amount of time just talking about the human brain and how we think about things and how our different senses are taking in different aspects. So he gets into some of the gets into the senses that we have. And actually, they've been through like fMRI machines and doing tests, they've been able to see exactly how fast these senses are. And he breaks this down kind of in a way and is thinking about these in terms of like a computer system type thing.
So when you say that, how fast these senses are, you're talking about how fast the human sensory responses are?
Yeah, it's human sensory response. So basically the bandwidth in which it can transmit the data, and you're actually able to, respond to it, or your brain's able to respond to it. So for instance, just breaking this down by reaction times, sound, we have 140 to 300 milliseconds, sight 180 to 300 milliseconds, touch around 20 milliseconds, pain around 80 milliseconds, taste 200 to 1200 milliseconds, smell 200 to 1200 milliseconds, and balance 8 to 10 milliseconds. So these are the latency times.
Balance is the fastest?
Yeah. So your balance is actually compensating for quite a bit. And he goes through some exercises of like having you move your eyes and like focus on something distantly, and then moving your head side to side, and just see how your brain is compensating for a lot of shit, and it's filling a lot of stuff.
Stood on one leg with your eyes closed? How long you can do that?
Well, it's doing so much in the background.
Right. Yeah. And so that was one of the most shocking things about this is, so you've got your conscious mind and you have your subconscious mind.
Stupid conscious.
And your conscious mind, that's the one that we think about. And it's like, oh, well, I'd see a dumb meme about, people, Haitians eating their pets and fucking Ohio, and I would know that that was just some dumbass shit. Well, your conscious mind, and this comes down to actual bandwidth, only accounts for 2% of your computational capacity of your brain. 98% is happening subconsciously. And it's and it's that much faster. So your subconscious mind is considerably faster than your conscious mind.
This kind of makes me think, have you ever heard those stories about someone, they get into an accident and they become like a mathematical savant, music savant? Like, one of them explained it as the math. He said basically he got hit in the head, and after that he can see like mathematical fucking like geometrical shapes in the world. I wonder if that shit is going, because like, think about it, when you are judging distances while you're driving and shit, like that shit is all background. You know what I'm saying? Like, like we probably do see the angles in our fucking mind. We just don't understand that it's in a background. It's the subconscious.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. And it's like our thinking mind is so much slower than what our subconscious mind is capable of doing. So kind of where this comes in with the and actually he goes into the actual bandwidth. So like just some of this stuff, your processing capacity, you're able to process approximately 74 gigabytes of data daily. Your unconscious brain is able to do 400 billion bits per second. Your conscious brain is 4,000. So 100 million times less than your unconscious brain. So where does this come in? So the thing that it comes in is he's talking about how we're potentially affected by this. And one of the things that I'd never really considered was this idea of information overload. And he calls it TMI, too much information. And the way that he is putting this is it's a cognitive denial of service. So in cybersecurity, because remember that this guy is
401 error.
Yeah, right. This guy is a cybersecurity guy. So to conduct a denial of service, one thing that you can do is you can flood like a website, for instance, with just a massive amount of information. So you can take like a bunch of other computers and you can point them at one location and you can flood it with all these requests and the computer gets overloaded. It is not able to be,
what do they call that?
So that's a distributed denial of service. So that's if you have all these bots and you're sending all these requests at one time and it overloads the machine. Now, what he's saying is, okay, we have this unconscious mind. Now, if you are looking at all of this information, all this social media stuff, right? All these videos, all this stuff on TV, you're flooding your brain with too much information and you're not leaving space for these other, you have limited conscious bandwidth.
Right.
Very limited. So if you flood it up with all of this other shit, well, guess what? You're not going to be able to think clearly about what you were able to do. And so you might think that, oh yeah, this whatever I saw online was fucking dumb, but it's still taking up some of that processing power, right? It's still taking up. And if you're getting enough of that, it can have follow-on effects, cause stress, cause anxiety. It actually can cause like fight or flight responses, actual emotional responses that you aren't even aware of. Like
That's why all these kids got anxiety nowadays.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You look at, it's not like, oh man, this made me angry. It can just cause a general sense of anxiety because basically you're poisoning the fucking well and your brain's getting flooded with all this fucking crazy information. So that's
Yeah, Napster's running in the background is what's going on.
right.
Fucking got viruses running around now.
Yeah, got a lot of viruses. So another really really interesting thing from this book is Winn talks about well, before we move on, the TMI, some symptoms of that: feeling emotionally drained, experiencing volatile emotions, tending to be more likely to indulge in negative behaviors and habits, feeling unmotivated and unable to focus, stressing out more and more, having difficulty making rational decisions. So those are kind of like
Sounds like a modern adult.
exactly. And maybe things would be a little different if we did not have so much social media, so much information being pumped in. Now, he also, so have you guys heard of something called PII? So personally identifiable information. So that's like your name, your address, social security number. You guys hear about these data breaches all the time. Oh yeah, so and so Avis, they got hacked, and well, so many companies are getting hacked nowadays, and there's so many breaches, and there are these massive data brokers. And he's come up with a very interesting idea, saying that this PII is going to quickly become meaningless. Because it's just going to be out there. But the thing that will be valuable is personally identifiable behavior. Now, this is the one that really kind of shocked me. So, social media companies and big tech, they're investing a lot of money, a lot of research in predicting behavior. So you guys have probably heard the a lot of people, and I've thought this myself, like, oh my God, Facebook they're listening to me. They know that I'm thinking about this.
Yeah, where it's like, I didn't even search for this thing, but like, why am I seeing ads for it?
Right. So yes, there is the capacity to listen to you, but they're not listening to you. They're predicting your behavior. Right?
That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
No.
They listening to me.
There are times when I'm like, I should look like get a scuba mask for fucking or whatever, and then I get home and I look and Facebook is showing me like scuba masks. I'm like, I didn't even fucking.
Exactly. I didn't even put it in your search thing.
So
I didn't even search for it.
So I'm gonna show you guys some fucking stuff. So if you don't think that they can predict your behavior, just to give you an idea.
But yeah, they know what porn thumbnail I'm finna click. That's
so
yeah, right. Big
just
natural titties, big booties.
The capacity that exists now. We've got these images of these two cats, one on the left and one on the right. One's an actual photo of a cat, and one's kind of like a AI generated photo of a cat. And this was the subject was looking at the image on the left. So they were just looking at the image. And the image on the right was created by reading the brain's neuronal patterns with MEG, magnetocephalography. And guess who? A research paper by Meta Platforms is both great technology and highly disturbing. Meta, Facebook. So that's the type of stuff that they're studying. Now they, Meta Platforms, they make a admission that along with other announcements should provide evidence that they do not care about a customer's privacy in the name of profits. Meta admits that it broadcasts Quest Pro user data to companies out of its purview. The movement sensing SDK, software developers kit, will grant developers outside the company access to abstractive gaze and facial expressions data to animate avatars and characters.
So I'm sorry, but stop for a moment there. You were
Mhm.
saying that other picture of the AI picture of the cat,
Yep.
the one that looks a little dumb,
Yep.
like it was kicked when it came out the
Yep.
womb. That was generated by
reading
a
somebody's
person's
mind.
brain waves.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
But they're not reading our brain waves. That was someone in an experiment, I'm assuming.
Right. So that's true. But
that doesn't answer me and Teddy being like, motherfuckers are listening.
Yeah, but
because he didn't search these things.
You know what they are
But I've
reading,
been bitching
though?
about them.
They're reading. Well, they're reading what you are spending time looking at online, how long you are dwelling on something. They're reading your eye patterns to see where your gaze is going. They're reading all of these different things, and they have all these different data points that they're bringing in. Now,
and they're listening.
Right. Do you guys have smartwatches?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, guess what?
Yes.
They are reading your pulse rate when you are looking at different things online. So with all of these different sensors that are bringing in the data, they're getting a very clear picture as to how you are affected by what you're seeing. Now, imagine this. If they feed that information into an AI that is 1,000 times smarter than Albert Einstein, maybe even smarter than that, and they're saying, okay, I want you to help me make Ashtray buy this thing or capture Ashtray to do this thing for me. And guess what? That AI is going to be pretty fucking good at doing that, right?
Man, he's going to ply the fuck out me.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, and we're just getting started here, right? Like, we're just getting started. So it's really, it's kind of interesting, and it's not all doom and gloom on this, because he's basically said
it is doom and gloom. AI will destroy us all.
Okay, well, until we get to that point.
We're always going to have a plug. We can just unplug that bitch.
Well, one thing that we can do is we can be very mindful about the things that are taking up our headspace, right? So if you're not letting yourself get flooded by just this mass amount of content that's going to get more and more targeted to you, to manipulate you, right? Because it's not going to be a manpower thing anymore. It's going to be AI unleashed to target you specifically to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, and one other thing. So Apple, they actually have a patent out for earbuds that are taking all kinds of readings, pulse, electromagnetic readings and whatnot from your earbuds. So they're getting all of this.
So they're
data.
listening to you.
Right. But it's not just a microphone. So the microphone is not as valuable as knowing your heart rate when you look at something, right?
Yeah. Right.
Because then you can truly know. If you have that and you have the micro expressions or the macro expressions from somebody's face and their gaze, that's going to tell you so much more than what somebody is saying.
Oh, no wonder my porn recommendations have been spot on.
So,
Every time, right?
Yeah,
it's
maybe this is a good thing. Yeah. So
that's the video that gets them going.
So one thing he said, what we can do is we can clean up and just be very conscientious about what we are putting into our brains, what we're exposing ourselves
Essentially, to. Don't go on the internet as much.
Well, this also makes me want to delay my son's social media exposure.
Fuck yeah, you should,
dude. Absolutely.
Back to high school, but by the time they do that, it will be even more. It's
God, right?
Yeah.
And the hardest part's got to be for those kids who are like, all my other friends are on the TikTok and the Instagram or whatever, and it's like they feel left out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't.
But you should be left out.
Yeah, you should be right.
Yeah, it's not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. To be.
There's a lot of downstream effects.
Yeah. Son, what they're laughing about is fucking retarded.
It's funny, but it's retarded.
Let's go kick a real retard. So,
Back in the old days.
yeah,
this is
back in
what
the
we
old
laughed about.
days.
This was our social media. Come here, Tommy.
Yeah.
We used to
Back
pay.
in the old days, we picked on people to their faces instead
Yeah,
of
right,
online.
right.
Yeah. We used to pay one a nickel to fucking slam his head into lockers and shit.
That's
There was
great.
always that one crazy kid who would just like hurt themselves for attention.
Yeah.
No, he was literally retarded. Like he
Oh.
was fucking.
Well, bless your heart.
We're going to hell, dude. Like that was
Yeah, you are.
that was horrible shit. Like yeah.
And another recommendation that Winn has is to slow down. To slow down your thought process, because we cannot outsmart. We are not fast enough or to compete with these AIs, right? Not even close. It
Yeah.
isn't close. So the best that you can do is just be selective and to think about it, and not just drink the Kool-Aid wholesale,
Yeah.
right? Because that's gonna fucking make you crazy, and it's just gonna drive you into whatever funnel they want you to be in, right?
This is like some free body problem shit.
Yeah, no, it kind of is. It's freaky.
Yeah, and really, it's like the answer is to. It's that same old that we've known for the last 15 years when it comes to as far as the internet. It's like, fucking step back, don't use it so
Right.
much, blah, blah, blah. But yet at the same time, it's getting better and faster and smarter
exactly.
and bigger at like shoveling us the shit we want to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
It's like you can't do schoolwork without fucking the internet.
Yeah.
No, it's becoming a necessity. So
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a utility at this point.
Yeah, it is. Algorithmic content that's serving up, that is targeted to you is a lot different than kind of just, your standard web stuff. But, good luck trying to find stuff. I mean, even now, everything's got AI.
Yeah.
Already. Like, oh yeah,
yeah.
fucking AI.
Well, that's like I guess what against you all or across you all, like what would be the most kind of absurd, like Teddy was saying, like I was just talking about the scuba diving thing, and then like I went home, it's like I never searched this, but like I see it come up.
yeah.
Then what's your most absurd, like these motherfuckers are tapped into me? Mine would be the like it was my girlfriend at the time was wearing this fucking cool band t-shirt that said like, I don't know, like lazy left-hand turns or whatever. And like on my way to work, I was like, oh, is that a band? Like asked her on my way out the door. And yeah, it was this band that we opened for, blah, blah, blah. Go to work and my like Amazon like daily mix thing, I'm like, that looks like the same band name. And like I sent her a picture. I'm like, this is the band on your t-shirt I just talked to you about?
Yeah.
She's like, yes. And your phone is listening to us. I know. And I was like, exactly. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, it's crazy. Those are the creepiest ones, like the association ones. Just stuff, with my wife or whatever. She's looking into something, and then I'm getting stuff that's related to her because I'm in the same household, because they're keeping track of all that shit, right?
Sure. I never thought about that, but like if your significant other is secretly looking up shit.
Right.
My kids do.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get suggestions for fucking Roblox and shit.
Yeah. Right. Oh,
Right.
well, maybe you want to get them something for Christmas or whatever. And
See,
it's getting all that
something-
location data.
Yeah, right. Instead, you start seeing weird shit for like QAnon or something. It's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Who in my house is drinking the
kids,
Kool-Aid?
right? Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
okay, so on that note, like for some reason, like flat Earth shit has been popping up on my timeline, and I'm like, oh, who the fuck? Oh,
That's awesome.
I'm like, why does this shit keep popping up? I don't get it.
Right.
Hey, Teddy. Teddy, by the way, how high are you?
High enough to see the Earth is round.
I'm pretty high. Why?
Yeah, your eyes aren't even open. You're just like,
True, your eyes are pretty heavy today.
Why? Totally open. Fuck you.
Attaboy.
totally open.
He ain't at work.
I am not at work right now.
Totally open if you're Chinese.
Just sleep.
All right, moving on. the next portion of the show, the What's Sexy, where we tell you what's sexy. First up, we have Teddy with Chaos.
Chaos,
Oh, chaos.
He's too high to be chaotic right now.
I'm not high. I'm not that high. Jesus Christ, I'm a professional. Y'all leave me alone.
I know.
I'm a professional.
You just have allergies. That's all.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
allergies. Yeah. Chaos is a show on Netflix. Episodes. It's a Greek story. In modern day telling. The main story is the story of Orpheus going to get his girlfriend back from hell, back from the land of the dead. But they weave some other stuff in there. But it's all in present day stuff.
Oh.
Jeff Goldblum plays a fucking dick ass Zeus that nobody likes.
Yeah.
And he's paranoid, and it's
A lot better than I thought he was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be weird, but he plays a good Zeus, to be honest.
Yep.
In this context, anyway.
But yeah, I mean, I think all the guys they've shown so far have done a good
So
job.
is this based on an actual old Greek mythology, or
It's Greek mythology, just retold in modern day.
In modern day, yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool.
Crete's in it, and the labyrinth with the Minotaur and stuff. It's a
Yeah. Have you made it to? How far did you get, Teddy?
Oh, I'll finish it.
Wait, bam.
The whole thing. I saw the Medusa part. I think it was in like the second episode where.
Yeah. Why am I not dead?
Because you're fucking dead.
Yeah.
Check it out. Chaos on Netflix.
I can't help but say that's chaos.
Next up, we have Mystic with The Gentleman.
This is if you've seen the show, or if you like anything Guy Ritchie has ever done, you will like this show. So The Gentleman, the movie is Matthew McConaughey, Colin Farrell, fucking Charlie Hunnam, bunch of different people. It basically follows a guy who has started a pot empire in the UK by growing. His grow ops are underground on nobility's land, so that nobody fucks with them because they're thousands of acres and fucking nobody pays attention. It's a duke, you know what I mean? Like he's above.
How many nobility properties are there? They probably actually said that in the movie.
24. There's 24 dukes.
And yeah, and the fucking.
So you do the math. Anyway, the show. So the movie centers around Matthew McConaughey, who started the business. The show centers around one of the dukes in this world, in this whole business thing. His dad dies, and he finds out that his dad had this shit on his land, and so now he's kind of just in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Is Matthew in any episodes as a cameo, or
no? The actual guy is played by somebody else.
So someone plays his character.
Actors. Yeah.
Okay.
There's no overlap of actors. It's just it's set. It's just Guy Ritchie doing different Guy Ritchie shit, basically. But it's really fun. It's really well written. If you like Guy Ritchie, you'll like this. It's paced like a
what
TV
we're watching is the movie trailer, right?
Is that I didn't?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, you shame, Oracle, as a producer. I was like, Guy Ritchie's all over this shit. Wait, that's the movie I watched.
That's the movie trailer, yeah.
Oh.
But it doesn't matter. They're both on Netflix.
Oh, okay.
I would. You could watch either one. You could watch both of them. You know what I mean? Like,
I would say watch the movie first, probably. So you get the idea of the.
Get the idea watching the show. You don't have to have watched the movie. And
it is a good movie, though.
The Gentleman is that these guys are ruthless gangsters, but they're still gentlemen. And that's kind of like it's a civil war, if you know what I'm saying. Anyway, boom, moving on.
Nice. Okay, next up we have me, and it's fucking apple season.
Oh, you homeowner, you.
Yep.
Like the new phone is coming out, or
nope. Apple can suck my dick. No, it's fucking real deal apple season. So I've been picking some apples.
Got trees on the old property there, I take it?
Good year.
How many?
Apples. Got a couple apple trees. I've made apple
Different
dishes.
types, or are they same type?
Same
apple?
type. Yeah.
What type you got
I don't
there?
fucking know. Good ones.
You don't know. Probably not them Honeycrisp.
I don't know. Whatever. This isn't fucking Aldi. This is
Aldi trees.
right. No, this is been made 2 apple pies so far. Been throwing
Nice. You or the
cutting
wife?
me. Been cutting apples
Oh,
up.
you made the pie.
Yeah,
huh?
I can
Nice.
make
Props,
pies,
props.
motherfucker.
I can make
Buy
Shit,
it.
I would love
Just
to try your pie
whatever,
in
Pillsbury
a very
or whatever.
non-sexual way.
So yeah, chopping up apples and putting them in with like chicken dishes and stuff like that. It's really good. So yeah, apples. It's awesome. Just put in 2 cherry trees today, and I got 2 peach trees coming. Those are going in tomorrow. So
As soon as that kid can fucking walk, you're gonna be teaching him how to pick.
oh, he can walk, and he's picking apples. So it's nice. I'll hold him up, and he'll grab an apple, and he'll just fucking start biting
And
into it.
pull it. That's
or eating
awesome.
it. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like it. There you have it. Fucking apples.
Fucking apples.
All right. Next up, we have Ashtray with Small World for an Easy Rider.
Yeah. So this
Wow.
if you see this photo
Yeah.
here, we'll share. What's funny is that today we were talking about this is at work. Like for whatever reason, actually I think I know the reason. There's a super Walmart near our industrial park. My coworkers are like, there's a dude just in a Speedo, just walking down the sidewalk. He's like, going to Walmart. And then my boss, that reminded my boss, where he's like, Craig, do you remember when I was driving down to Janesville and I took this picture of this guy in a Speedo riding a motorcycle? This is like 5 years ago. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I do remember. And he like looked it up on his phone, brought it up and showed, the new coworkers and whatnot. And where the fuck is it? Oh, here we go. So anyways, like that's this same day today, I, in the bathroom, going on the shitter, and like, oh, the Madison subreddit, look at it, and there's this post. Nude motorcycle man. And it's, yo, my eyes deceiving me, or did I just see a naked old man on a motorcycle with potentially a small loincloth? That was the post. So, of course, it gets all these responses. And Oracle, you might remember this guy of old Madison lore, was the Thong Cape Scooter Man. You remember hearing about him?
I don't know if I remember that or not. I don't
like you might not have lived on the east side long enough where so there's this guy for a good decade or so, like rode around on a Vespa scooter. He almost looked like Randy from Trailer Park Boys, and he would be in a thong, but he had a cape around his neck and a like one of those little like Euro like round egg-shaped helmets. And so everybody's like, oh, welcome back, Thong Cape Scooter Man. And people are like, oh, he lives. Because it's like people haven't seen him around in a number of years. But I initially am like, old man on a motorcycle. Because that thing, too, is Thong Cape Scooter guy was not really old. Middle-aged at best. And so I come out the shitter, and I'm like, Phil. I'm like, you wouldn't believe, look at this post I just saw in Madison. Like, text me that photo of the old guy. I'm going to post it on the thread and see. And so I did. I'm like, was it this guy? And yeah, the original poster, she's like, that's the guy. And like, there were other people too. It was like, oh, there was a guy who lives in Janesville, I think, who did this. So it's like all the Madison East Side nerds are like, it's the Thong Cape Scooter guy. And OP's like, no, bitches, it's not. It's this guy, which just happens to be, this photo's 5 years old. But this guy's still riding around like an easy rider.
Wow.
Fuck him, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Good for him until he gets to an accident.
That road rash would fucking.
Oh, I know. I was gonna say he'll be ground beef.
He's old enough to know the fucking consequences. Fuck it.
I mean,
Right?
can you imagine road rash on your balls? I mean, goddamn.
Maybe he goes the speed limit, keeps it real easy, gives himself a lot of leeway.
Man, it's the other drivers.
I know.
Yeah. Not
It's
worried.
the other people.
No.
All right, moving on. Fuck what you think. First step's me. Shit in Puke City.
Welcome to parenthood.
Rapids is that bad now?
So I fucking wake up the other day. I think it was last weekend. And I wake up. There's fucking puke on the floor. There's fucking a turd on the couch. Somebody had puked off the edge of the half wall onto my fucking keyboard.
Oh no.
So I've got slimy fucking puke all over my fucking keyboard.
Yeah, I'm getting a new keyboard.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, that's having 3 animals and a 1-year-old child.
I was gonna say.
You get plenty of puke and poop in
Yeah,
your life.
getting, bro. Just
Mhm.
But yeah, that was a lovely way to fucking start my day. I'm just like, there's a fucking turd on
Yeah.
my fucking couch.
But this is where, yeah. You gotta remind yourself, is like 100 years ago, you would have been an old farm family, and this would have been par for the course.
Yeah, right.
Someone barfed here, someone pooped there. Gotta clean her up.
Yeah,
Air poop everywhere, poop.
yeah.
yeah, but that old farm family wouldn't be having those pets indoors. Those would have been barn cats, and that dog would.
That's true.
That's true.
It'd only be the children who pooped and shit
Yeah,
and puked
Kid
on
would
the...
have just left a big old turd on the coffee table or something.
Yeah, right. You know it would have been Daryl.
Okay, next up we have Mystic with to blur or not to blur.
Ooh.
All right, that is the question. They had this big debate at work today, and I get you guys' input on this. So we had this mural that was up in Milwaukee. It was like some, I don't know what it was, Jewish fucking mural, right? It had the Star of David like on it, and somebody put a swastika in the middle of the Star of David, like lined it up pretty good. It was pretty well done. But anyway, we took video.
he had his geometry right.
The angles was just right, bro. I'm telling you, man. He
Yeah,
lined up.
Right? I don't agree with this symbol, but I agree with the symmetry.
I don't like the imagery, but it was done well. Anyway, they had me blur out the middle. They had me blur out the swastika.
Yeah.
But we told people in the script that it was a swastika.
Right.
And
So
in
I
certain,
blurred out.
when it's head on too, you can still tell it's swastika, no matter what fucking amount of blur I put on it. It's a white
Yeah.
background with a black fucking swastika. You know what I mean?
True.
Like super high contrast. I would have to just drop all the opacity off to
You'd have to make it like a 4x4 pixel blur. Like
exactly. Yeah. It was just ridiculous. So I don't understand why we blurred it. I really don't.
Oh, it's for the
People
people who would give you backlash. That's
The
why.
thing is, people know what a fucking swastika. It's one of the most
Yeah.
recognizable symbols on the planet. Not for a good reason, obviously, but it is.
Mhm.
Right.
Why are we fucking blurring it?
Why?
Grow up.
Because we're still climbing out of the woke era.
Yeah, I guess it's just fucking.
That's what I would
on
say.
one-
I would put the minimal blur on it, so it was still obvious. But yet, it's
Yeah.
like they could say, "Well, we blurred it."
I put the max, and it was still obvious in a couple
Okay.
fucking.
Well, see,
spots.
then
So
you have even more coverage to be like,
I
"Well,
even
I
told
max
the fucking
blurred it."
I told the EP, I was like, you need to check this and make sure that it's done right, because I don't want
Right.
fucking
You
shit
don't
coming
want
back
to
up.
your heat. Ugh.
Yeah.
God, right?
Anyway,
So
Just
you're
dump
saying
debate.
you're a fucking Nazi. Okay, we
Yeah,
got it.
right. So basically, you are adjacent and endorsing Nazism by not blurring it enough. You know what? You should have filtered at maximum, and then should have processed that shit, and then brought it back into program, and then filtered on maximum again.
Mystic actually collects his paintings, and he has his testicle in a jar in his basement.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
That's true. That's why we don't show his face, ladies and gentlemen, because he has a Hitler mustache.
Yeah. I'm not denying any of this.
Because it can't be proved otherwise. Because people
Yeah, you can't prove it, but I'm not denying it. I'm just throwing it out there. I also eat people's pets, so whatever.
Oh,
All
Man
right.
of misery.
All
That's
right.
it.
Moving on, Teddy. It's a speed hump.
Okay, so these guys down here, they drive these big ass jacked up trucks with fucking big ass tires. You can see and when it comes to a speed bump, they will
Open
fucking
your
hit
eyes.
that shit like they'll slow down like 5 miles an hour. I'm like, what's the point of having all of that
Yeah,
shit?
right. Are you driving fine China back there? What's going on?
Dude, I had a buddy in high school. He would take them like one wheel at a time, and I was like, this is the most retarded shit.
What? He would take it at an angle?
That
Like,
would,
Yeah,
Like an
seems
angle.
like that'll fuck your car up worse.
Kind of cars he
yeah.
Is he a low rider? Did he have to do that?
No. I'm talking these guys are like trucks, pickup trucks and shit like that. I'm like, what are you doing? Like I've seen you fucking go
Put it
through
in
a
an
field
angle in a pickup truck? That's retarded.
and it's like one wheel at a time and shit. Like, and if you're in a lower car, I can see people doing shit like that.
Yeah.
I've seen with low riders in Arizona
will-
have the
I will be honest. When I'm hauling DJ equipment, sometimes you take those. You see a bump, you take it one wheel at a time. But yeah, that's what I say. Like, are you hauling fine China in the back? Like, why?
Essentially,
It's to get you
You're
to sit down. I mean, you could take them at 5 miles an hour, 10 miles an hour. I mean, you can take them at a decent speed without having to fucking catch air.
Mhm.
And shit. And especially if you're
Sometimes it's a little thrilling when you're at like 22 miles an hour. Woo!
high-
Ooh, I hit one in my Mercury one time, dude, and I thought I broke something. I was like, I didn't see it. And I was like, oh shit. I fucking
Mhm.
that bitch probably doing 40. Just fucking boom.
Damn. Yeah, that'll fuck some shit up.
There's a video of people who speed down the street, and so the neighborhood speed bump, and so they're sitting out on the neighborhood sitting on their front porches, watching people speed down and get fucking
Yeah. I've
Let's see
seen
how they
that,
can launch
yeah.
off it.
holy shit, yeah.
Getting air and shit.
That sounds like good urban, society fun.
They're like,
Right.
"Slow down, kids play around here." It's funny as fuck, but yeah, that's my fucking thing.
All right. Next up, we have Ashtray with Here Comes the Car Payment Fairy.
Yeah.
Oh, did you have to get something new?
Well, I haven't yet, but last weekend, no, actually it was the weekend before. As I was driving home from that gig in Milwaukee, where I was like, boy, I should call Mystic up and see if I can just crash his party at 1 a.m. And I was like, he wouldn't. Anyways,
Probably wouldn't have answered the phone. I would have
just like for whatever reason, I have no idea why. Everything was fine till I needed to get gas before getting out of the city because I was low, and then leaving the gas station, all of a sudden it's like, feel like a weird rumble, and then all the fucking lights turn on. It's like I don't need this shit while I'm leaving a gig, drinking. Anyways, I mean, I got home, but just like it felt like the engine wasn't firing right, and yeah, it turns out the timing belt jumped some gears.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Time
and
belts. What do you got? A Toyota?
Toyota RAV4, 2008, and
I never had her serviced around 100,000. That's usually when you're supposed to get them replaced.
oh yeah, that's probably why.
Way
'Cause,
to
I
go.
bought it used.
Fucking
Way to go,
retard.
Ashtray! You didn't have that fucking timing belt replaced.
Well, Mister should have been checking his mileage and telling him. I mean, but that's
I
shit.
know, right? Mystic didn't give me the fucking warning, so I'm going to tell my insurance company that.
I think it's probably around 80 to 100 because that's when Volkswagens and like Mazdas and Nissan.
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, it's like, and of course, it's like I call them first thing Monday morning when you can get me in. Oh, okay, get you until Friday. It's like, oh, motherfucker. So like, that's the thing too is like, and this also goes to show how well built the Toyotas are. Isn't this that fence that like? I could tell there was like there was a rumble, but like when I'm driving, I don't really notice it. It's only when I'm at the intersection. And then like the, mixed like codex, hieroglyphics of the lights on the dash of like, what could this be? And of course I drive it then for fucking 4 or 5 days till I can get it in. And they're like, oh yeah, you can't take it this weekend. Like your engine's basically only firing half. I'm like, really? It was only firing half, and it wasn't like like.
Is it a 6-cylinder or 4?
6-cylinder.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you have that straight 6? That That is literally one of the best engines on the planet. Though.
Oh man, and that's the thing too is even and then of course it was like on Friday they're like, well, our main tech isn't in. He won't be until Monday. Like, but we really you really shouldn't be driving over the weekend. So like, put in this pickle, and a shout out to my dad, because it's like I'm thinking of anyone in Madison I know who could lend me a vehicle. Let alone anyone in Madison I know doesn't even have a vehicle as big as my RAV4. Like. So because I have a gig the next day on Saturday. I have to do Tuesday a wedding. And yeah, shout out to my pops. God bless you for he's just like had the day off on Friday, scrubbing windows on the house like fucking old boomer shit. And he's like, oh no, I got you. And also like you could tell he kind of was like really happy to help me because I never asked for help. So yeah, he came up, literally got to the mechanics before I did after work, and like pulled all my gear out of my vehicle, and we drove back down to Potosi, and he's lending me a Suburban. What a fucking beast that is. Oracle's been to my apartment. You know how narrow that little driveway is between those two houses?
Oh my God, you get a fucking Suburban.
I got a Suburban back there.
That's the biggest fucking car.
It's
yes. And it gets like 5 miles to the gallon.
Right?
Yes.
It's like, just got to be night and day trying to drive that thing.
Oh, I know. I'm like an old person. I'm like, oh, geez. Oh, I got to correct. And it's got also, it's, like a late 2000s, I think. So it's got like some of the like proximity warnings where I was just like, why is this car beeping? But there's no
You're
like
like
backup
smashing into it
because I've got literally 3 inches on each side of my mirror. Anyways, nonetheless, that's been another thing. Which like I got to add an extra 5 minutes just to get out my fucking driveway in the morning before work. But God bless my father for giving me a vehicle that I can use that can like still do my wedding gigs with. But now it's like, yeah, after getting the estimate, it's going to be $6,800 to do the engine work.
Fuck that, man.
And that's essentially what the Blue Book value is of that vehicle.
No.
What?
Yeah, you might as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So it's just like,
Jesus, man.
and of course the mechanic wasn't like, well, they're just kind of like, oh. And the thing too is they're like, well, the only other option is to put a new engine in, but like unless you can find an engine that's $50,000 or $60,000 or miles less than what you got, like it's not really worth the trouble.
Software
How
time.
many miles are on it?
182,000.
I'll bet you could sell that fucking thing for still a couple $1,000s.
Yeah. That's the thing too, is like the mechanic guy was like, well, I'm starting like honestly, the scrap places, I mean, you might get $1,200.
That is what I'm saying, because that
just
engine
basically
is
sell
so
it as in like the engine just needs the timing belt.
If somebody needs parts off a RAV4, that's a fucking cheap $2,000 part car.
That's the thing too, is like now that's my fuck what you think is like coming to that point of like, fuck. Basically it's like strong army into like I need to do the new vehicle thing. And surprisingly, too, is like just how much the industry has changed in the last 5 years. Even pre-COVID, do you remember? I think we even talked about this in one of our podcasts where it was like how they had that glut of vehicles in like 2018, 2019, where they couldn't, it's like, oh shit, we still got 2017s that are brand new, but we just couldn't get rid of. And then there was the chip shortage that came with COVID, and the COVID fuckery, which increased the
used cars went up.
Used
They're
car
going down,
value. Yeah, right now everything is starting to go down. But like I was just like reading up on looking at the values of that old adage, basically, my fuck what you think is that kind of growing up with that, look for something that's about 5 years old with roughly around 50,000 miles. If you can find a little sweet gem like that, and it'll last you a while. But now it's like you find something that's 3, 4, 5 years old that is low mileage like that, and it's like, oh, it's $4,000 to $6,000 less than the new model.
Yeah, dude, I'd just buy it new, man.
And that's
And
the thing too, is with the interest
get
rates.
the warranty.
Yeah.
The interest
But
rates
with
right
the
now,
new, you
you're
don't
looking
have
at
to worry,
9%. What's that?
if you were to get that thing fixed, it's going to start nickel and diming you to death.
Mhm.
With almost 200,000 miles, you're going to start having to pay $1,000 every time it fucking breaks down.
Mm-hmm.
So you might as well just pay for a fucking payment on a new car. You get the luxury of having a new car, and you have a warranty.
Yeah.
Trade
Well,
it
that's the
into
thing
the
too.
dealer too, because they'll give you a decent amount of money, and you won't have to fuck around.
Yeah, well, that's the thing
Bro,
is I realized
fuck
that
it.
not only that the change in the like car industry, with the sense that like the used cars will hold their value so much more, and the fact that it's not just the change in the industry, but the interest rate change, where it's like shit. I'm looking at like 9% interest rate to get a loan to buy a nice new used car, new to me, but
Mm-hmm.
a used car. Whereas like, fuck, I'm even thinking like, because my commute to work is 10 to 15 minutes, mileage wise is like 5 miles. I'm even thinking about leasing, which is something like I grew up with thinking was just like, fuck, lease is for like stupid people or rich people.
Yeah.
But I mean, from what I've been reading and stuff too, like you're looking at your lowest monthly payment wise, leasing is the option for your lowest monthly payment.
Yeah, but they charge you for everything. Like if you get a little ding in that bitch, man, that's gonna cost you when you
That's my one thing of like being a little wary because of my thing as DJing, and that's why too I was like really wanting to just fucking get this vehicle back on the road because it's like it's paid off. I've got all the dings and dents and shit. I don't care. I throw my gear in and out during gigs.
Right.
But the thing also though is the fact that those 9% interest rates, that's what you'll get if you get a loan for a used car when you go to even like, a full dealership.
Yeah.
But when you get a new car, whether it be buying it new or leasing it new, the interest rate incentives are sometimes down to 4%, like because they're just trying to get people to take the shit.
There you go.
So it's like, fuck, I guess I got to do that.
Can
payment
you afford
$600
a month? Because that's probably what it's gonna be.
Can I afford what?
$600 a month. You got to ask yourself that.
$600 a month.
Oh yeah, no, that's
the
that's
fuck
no.
kind
He's
of car
right.
are you gonna
He's
get?
right.
No, absolutely. You're paying fucking
No,
almost
he's
600.
right. That's why I'm so fucking stressed about
I
this
don't know what
shit,
kind
is
of
because-
fucking cars you guys.
No,
Well,
Dude,
no,
I'll look
like
up a brand
but not your hurt.
four right now.
Okay,
that is
a brand new RAV4. Dude,
yeah, new RAV4. You're looking at about like
right
a
now.
good RAV4. You're looking at $40,000.
Jesus.
That's the thing is too is why I was even considering the leasing option is because it will still be less than if I were to buy it new with the incentives. And thinking too that because of my work commute so short that I can probably keep within the 12,000 miles a year. I just have to be like an old man and be like, duh, put some paper towels under your butt when you shit in my car.
Yeah.
When you pick up some homeless person.
Oh God, yeah, I can't pick up homeless skanks anymore if I start leasing a vehicle, boys. Good thing I have a girlfriend now.
Yeah. Yeah. So there you have it. Being an adult sucks.
Yeah.
Moving on. In all seriousness, go fuck yourself. Fucking inflation and Haitians eating dogs in fucking Ohio.
Yeah. It's the Haitian eating dogs that are causing my car rates to be so high.
It's basically fucking RoboCop 2 out here. Fucking crazy. That's our show.
I hadn't even got to try the narc.
We're going to be here every Wednesday or Thursday night at 10 p.m. Central. Make sure you join the conversation at theredeyereport.com or facebook.com/redeyereport. Like us, share us, fuck us. We're down for whatever. I'm Oracle.
This is the Ashtray.
I'm Mystic.
And I'm Teddy.
And this is
Maybe.
the Red Eye Report.
Who put a question mark on his television?